The morning sun spilled across the sprawling Utah Valley University campus, glinting off the glass windows of the Losi Center and casting long shadows across the neatly trimmed lawns. Students ambled between classes, backpacks slung over their shoulders, some laughing, some buried in their phones, entirely oblivious to the tension that buzzed faintly in the air. Tents were being erected for the American Comeback Tour, the bright banners snapping lightly in the gentle breeze, their bold letters promising fiery speeches and heated debate. Charlie Kirk's sleek black SUV rolled through the parking lot, his familiar smile flashing as organizers waved him over, offering handshakes and quick nods, while aides checked schedules, clipboards in hand. The crowd was sparse now, but volunteers moved like clockwork, checking sound systems, arranging chairs, and making last-minute adjustments to the stage. Yet, amid this calm, a shadowed figure lingered on the edges of the campus, Tyler James Robinson, eyes hidden beneath a dark baseball cap, sunglasses reflecting the world he didn't intend to join. He paused by the tree lean, watching the flow of students, noting security positions, and subtly adjusting the duffel bag slung over his shoulder. His breathing was shallow but steady, each exhale masking the rush of adrenaline coursing through him. Across the amphitheater, a pair of campus police officers chatted lazily, unaware of the scrutiny their presence invited. Close-ups lingered on Tyler's hands, brushing against the concealed rifle inside his bag, the metallic chill of the barrel pressing against his fingers, and on his phone, where maps of the campus and schematics of rooftops glowed in faint light. He shifted his weight, eyes flicking toward the stage as Charlie stepped onto the grass, tossing hats into the early attendees, shaking hands, the ease of his movements a stark contrast to the meticulous tension in Tyler's posture. For a moment, the camera caught the contrast. Close-ups lingered on students' faces, eyes wide, hands over mouths, phones shaking in terror, intercut with the calm, methodical escape of Tyler, the stark contrast between innocence and calculated violence etched into every frame. The camera panned slowly upward, capturing the deserted rooftop, a dark shadow receding, and then back to the tent, the aftermath frozen in surreal slow motion, leaving the audience with a chilling realization. A single moment, a single choice, had irrevocably shattered an ordinary morning, leaving the campus forever altered and the world watching, horrified, in real time. Time seemed to stretch and compress all at once as Charlie Kirk leaned slightly forward, mid-sentence under the tent, engaging a student with a confident smile and casual banter, completely unaware of the eyes trained on him from above. Tyler's finger hovered on the trigger, the rifle steadied against the concrete, crosshairs locked, every inch of distance measured, every heartbeat a countdown. A momentary breeze lifted a corner of the tent, flapping it across the crowd, masking the faint metallic click as Tyler exhaled, squeezing the trigger with a precision born of obsession and weeks of meticulous planning. The sharp crack of the rifle split the air, a sound that seemed impossibly loud and impossibly fast, and chaos erupted in a split second. Students screamed, scattering in all directions, chairs toppled, hats and belongings thrown in panic, while Charlie collapsed forward, blood spreading across the pale grass, his voice cut off mid-word. Organizers and security personnel rushed toward him, shouting and lifting him toward a nearby SUV, while camera phones captured every moment, streaming the horror instantly across social media. Tyler scrambled across the roof, adrenaline propelling him, feet hitting the concrete with precise, controlled force as he dropped over the edge, landing in a wooded corner with the rifle still in hand, leaving behind a towel-wrapped evidence of premeditation and engraved bullet casings, eerie, silent witnesses to the act. The tent flapped violently now in the chaos, banners twisting in the wind, faces frozen in disbelief, some screaming, some crying, some numb, as the sun continued to shine overhead, indifferent to the violence below. Sirens wailed in the distance, but for those in the amphitheater, time had shattered, laughter and cheers replaced by screams and confusion, the air thick with panic and blood. Tyler adjusted the scope, the crosshairs aligning on the figure he had studied for weeks, the weight of the rifle balanced, steady. He breathed slowly, calculating wind, angle, trajectory, and timing, visualizing the single, inevitable moment when all variables would align. The camera lingered on his gloved hands, fingers brushing the rifle's trigger, then panned to the oblivious crowd, the tent flapping above, and finally, a wide aerial shot captured the stark juxtaposition, joy and innocence below, obsession and intent above, and the fragile seconds ticking down toward irreversible catastrophe. The rooftop wind picked up, flapping his baseball cap against his head, and in that instant, the world held its breath, every laugh, every cheer, every step below a countdown to the point of no return. The stairwell groaned faintly under Tyler's careful weight as he ascended, each step measured, deliberate, the echo swallowed by the vast emptiness of the upper floors. Outside, the campus stretched beneath him in a patchwork of green lawns, winding paths, and gathering students, oblivious to the calculated presence above. Reaching the rooftop, Tyler paused, crouched low, letting the cool metal rail press against his palms, surveying the amphitheater below with sharp, unblinking focus. The white tent flapped gently in the morning breeze, casting moving shadows across the sea of faces, unaware of the looming threat. Slowly, methodically, he unpacked the rifle, the polished wood and glinting metal reflecting the sunlight in sharp, sterile flashes, each click and clink swallowed by the wind. The engraved cartridges lay beside him, faint markings of memes, inside jokes, and cryptic slogans, small, personal signatures that spoke to his obsession and the surreal intertwining of internet culture with real-life violence. He crawled into position, stomach pressed against the cold concrete, eyes narrowing through the scope, scanning the crowd, memorizing the patterns of movement, noting the moments when Kirk laughed, tossed a hat, or leaned toward a student. Every cheer, every murmur, every flutter of fabric became a cue, a part of the mental choreography he had rehearsed endlessly. His heartbeat thudded, loud in his ears, matching the distant pulse of the crowd below, yet outwardly he appeared unnervingly calm, a predator perfectly still in plain sight. In the distance, Charlie's laughter carried up to him, light and carefree, a stark contrast to the shadowed intensity above. The camera cut between him and the crowd, emphasizing the invisible line separating normalcy from impending disaster. Inside the tent, Charlie engaged a student in a back and forth about mass shootings, tossing in rhetorical flourishes that drew nods, murmurs, and applause, completely unaware that a meticulous, patient observer was now only a few hundred feet above, scanning for the exact moment when every variable aligned. The faint sound of footsteps echoed in empty hallways, merging with the distant laughter below, a rhythm that seemed innocuous yet for Tyler marked a countdown. He adjusted his baseball cap, checked the scope through his binoculars, and exhaled slowly, the anticipation tangible, almost electric, while the audience, caught up in their excitement, remained blissfully unaware. Every cheer, every clap, every piece of paper tossed in the breeze became part of his mental map, guiding him toward the spot he had already visualized 1,000 times. As Kirk finished a quip and the audience erupted in applause, Tyler's focus narrowed, everything else fading, a single point of intent forming amid the chaos below. The camera lingered on his eyes, dark behind sunglasses, tracing the crowd, calculating distance, timing, and trajectory, while the soundtrack held a subtle, taut rhythm, a heartbeat swelling with each passing second, until the scene closed with an aerial view of the amphitheater, the tent, and Tyler, moving steadily toward the stairs that would take him above, setting the stage for the impossible to come. The grassy amphitheater beneath the giant white tent buzzed with the low hum of chatter and anticipation as students and early attendees found their seats, some craning to catch a glimpse of the stage before the official start. The sunlight filtered through the tent, throwing shifting patterns across the faces of the crowd, eager, curious, some skeptical, all caught in the energy of the American Comeback Tour. Charlie Kirk moved among them, tossing hats and engaging in light banter, his voice carrying with practiced ease, eliciting laughter and cheers, the familiar charisma of someone completely at ease in the spotlight. Meanwhile, high above, Tyler navigated the maze of stairs and hallways of the Losi Center, a figure of calm precision in stark contrast to the chaos below. Every step he took was deliberate, his eyes flicked constantly between exits, security patrols, and the slowly swelling crowd, mentally mapping angles, distances, and sightlines. The duffel bag pressed against his shoulder contained more than just tools, it was the repository of weeks of planning, sleepless nights, and obsession, and the weight of it was both reassuring and heavy, a constant reminder of the act he had decided would change everything. Below, the volunteers hustled, oblivious to the scrutiny above, adjusting microphones and cheering as early attendees clapped for small, staged victories like a perfectly balanced podium or a banner snapped tight in the breeze. Tyler paused at a corner, crouching briefly to examine the stairwell he would ascend, his fingers brushing the cold metal railing, memorizing each twist and turn.